Hi guys, this is Quote Guy, and today we mourn the loss of a beautiful and relentless soul, Bjorn Andresen, who passed at age 70 on 25 October 2025. Bjorn spent his whole life, around 54 years, battling the demon, devilish child predator director Luciano Visconti, rooted in him in 1971 when he was 15. Today we look at the tragic, haunting yet unrelenting story of Bjorn Andresen. Before anything, let's talk about Sweden. Apart from IKEA, what else do you know about it? Sweden gave importance to world peace and literature by inventing the Nobel Prize in 1895, named after Alfred Nobel, and deciding the Literature Prize. Sweden also plays a pivotal part in honing the music industry, as it's home to some of the biggest names in music. ABBA, a Swedish pop group, are among the most renowned and commercially successful musical groups in history since it won the Eurovision Song Contest for Sweden with their song Waterloo in 1974. Waterloo was also chosen as the best song in the competition's history during its 50th anniversary celebration in 2005. ABBA Museums in Stockholm lets you sing Dancing Queen in holographic form, and the group has sold 400 million records, and their Mamma Mia musical and films are still played in theaters daily and globally today. It's okay if you don't know ABBA, you must know Spotify, right? This digital app, used by 600 million people around the world, was founded in 2006 in Stockholm, and it completely changed how the world publishes and purchases music. Apart from music tech savvy, Sweden is also home to automobile brands like Volvo and Saab. Finally, Sweden is well known for having the world's highest taxes and happiness, as it provides free healthcare, education, 480 days parental leave, resulting to ranking within the top 10 every year in UN Happiness Rank since 2013. Sweden is pioneering, musical, happy and free. In contrast, our hero today is forced to live the exact opposite life, a caged, exploited, enslaved and miserable life. Bjorn Johan Andresen was a Swedish actor and musician, best remembered for his haunting portrayal of the ethereal teenager Tadzio in Luciano Visconti's 1971 film Death in Venice. Hailed by Visconti as the most beautiful boy in the world, Andresen's delicate features and blonde curls made him an instant icon, but the role also cast a long shadow over his life, one he later described as having screwed up my life quite decently.
First, we take a deep look at the 6 massive miseries of Bjorn's life. Misery 1. A fateful orphan raised by a greedy gran. Bjorn was orphaned early. His mother, Barbro, died by suicide when he was 10. He was then raised by his grandparents, and he never knew his father. He lacked not just a mother, but also a father figure that would guide and protect him from the unknown dangers of the world. To add salt to injury, his greedy grandmother pushed him into modeling and acting without his consent at age 8. She wanted fame through me. I had no choice. He blamed her ambition for delivering him, unprotected, into Visconti's hands, and the lifelong consequences. Bjorn also could not attend his mother's funeral at age 10 because he was already modeling his grandmother, booked a photo shoot the same week. Grief was inconvenient to the brand.
Misery 2, lifelong curse disguised as instant fame. Bjorn was cast at 15 as Tadzio in Luciano Visconti's Death in Venice, 1971, for his beauty. This seems like the beginning of a fairy tale life, when a young and handsome boy rises to fame and success, yet, being young, innocent and having no guardian to protect him, and meeting the devilish and abusive predator Luciano Visconti, Bjorn led Bjorn to a life of incessant pain and struggle. I should have said no when they asked me to undress for the camera at 15, but I was a child. Who listens to children? The audition trauma haunted him. He wished he'd had the power, or an adult, to stop it. Bjorn endured a brutal, sexualized casting process and on-set isolation and physical control. During the Death in Venice audition in Stockholm, Visconti ordered Bjorn to strip to his underwear and then totally nude and walk back and forth while the director and crew, consisting 12 adult men, inspected him like livestock. The boy's grandmother was present, but said nothing. The humiliating footage was kept for 50 years and later included in the 2021 documentary without his prior consent, reopening the trauma. Though Bjorn did not give up battling, he died still fighting to erase the 1970 audition tape. Even in 2025, restored Death in Venice Blu-rays included the strip scene. Bjorn only won the legal battle posthumously 3 days after his death. Bjorn also experienced on-set isolation and physical control when Visconti forbade Bjorn from swimming, sunbathing, even fresh air, or playing with other children to preserve his porcelain complexion. Bjorn was locked in his hotel room between takes. Co-star Dirk Bogarde called it psychological torture of a child. He was kept pale and fragile on purpose. Visconti drugged Bjorn with sedatives to keep him docile on the Lido set. Bjorn was given Valium daily to stop fidgeting and maintain the ethereal look. Bjorn later said, "I was half asleep for 6 months. I don't remember Venice." Overall, Bjorn was treated as a prop, not a minor under labor protections. Misery 3. Harassed and exploited Jap teen idol. Upon the release of Death in Venice, Bjorn became a Japanese teen idol who recorded pop songs and starred in ads in the 1970s. But he suffered post-film objectification as unethical. Japanese promoters flew the underage teen to Tokyo multiple times, marketed him as a living doll, and encouraged frenzied fans to grab, cut his hair, and photograph him in compromising situations. Fans carried scissors onto trains and into hotels. Promoters gave him sedatives so he wouldn't fight back. Bjorn was also given pills to cope with panic attacks, but had no chaperone or veto power. At the same time, his Death in Venice stills became the blueprint for Japan's Bishonen manga archetype, like early shoujo works by artists like Keiko Takemiya. But Bjorn received no royalties or credit, while his face sold billions in comics, anime, and merchandise. His identity permanently commodified without consent for decades. His image birthed a multi-billion yen genre, manga, anime idols, but he was paid only $3,000 per 1970s trip. Absolutely unfair and unscrupulous. Misery 4. Forced adult roles and public sexualization. At 16-17, Andresen was taken to Paris by a wealthy gay socialite, introduced by you-know-who, the forever vile Visconti, and paraded at parties where older men openly bid on spending the night with him. Visconti laughed it off as networking. At the end, Visconti himself dismissed him at Cannes with, "You're no longer the most beautiful boy," discarding him once puberty altered his looks, claiming that beauty had an expiration date and Bjorn had passed it. These weren't accidents of fame. They were deliberate systemic abuses of a child actor with no guardian advocacy. Bjorn regretted staying silent for decades about the abuse. "I protected the wrong people. I should have screamed from the rooftops what they did to me." He regretted not exposing Visconti, the Japanese promoters, and the Paris predators sooner, thinking it might have spared others. Visconti didn't direct me. He consumed me. Bjorn Andresen, 2021. Bjorn Andresen, 2021. These weren't quirks of genius. They were deliberate, protected abuses by a powerful man who knew no one would stop him. Misery 5. Infant son dying beside him, while media added more pain. His infant son Elvin died in 1985 at 9 months from SIDS, while Bjorn, drunk, slept beside him. "My son died in my arms. I was drunk." That's the worst thing that can happen to a human being. To make matters worse, the guilt was weaponized by tabloids. Tadzio's curse, beauty kills his own child. His pain became aesthetic tragedy. Bjorn never forgave himself, and the guilt fueled years of alcoholism and depression from 1985-1990. If I meet my son again in the afterlife, I just want to say, "I'm sorry, and I love you." This was Bjorn's deepest regret and hope, expressed in the 2021 documentary. Misery 6. An unwanted identity, shadowing and towering over him till his death. Bjorn lost his childhood identity the day the film premiered. From age 16 onward, 99% of Google results for Bjorn Andresen were just stills of Tadzio. His real face vanished. Everyone knew him not for his acting or music, and definitely not his real name, but for Tadzio, which was the same for directors. Bjorn turned down major roles post-1971 because directors only wanted Tadzio aged up. Bjorn was offered Lolita-style scripts into his 20s, always the beautiful, tragic, passive boy. I don't want to be remembered as Tadzio. I want to be remembered as Bjorn, who survived. Even the 2021 documentary meant to reclaim his story, still centered on the boy in white. He died fearing the cage had won. Beauty didn't open doors, it nailed them shut behind me. Bjorn Andresen, this torturing list of merciless miseries all originated from one person, Luchino Visconti, the one who single-handedly took Bjorn to hell and extracted fame and fortune from him. Did he ever get punished for his wrongdoings toward Bjorn? Short answer: no. Visconti died in 1976 at age 69, long before Fuck Me Too, before Andresen's 2021 documentary The Most Beautiful Boy in the World exposed the exploitation, and before any legal or cultural reckoning could touch him. His abuses, while predatory and documented, occurred in an era where powerful directors faced zero accountability for objectifying child actors. Here's the breakdown. 1. No legal consequences during his lifetime. Visconti's actions, e.g., the humiliating nude audition, drugging Bjorn with Valium, isolating him on set, and pressuring a 16-year-old into a gay club post-premiere, were never investigated or prosecuted. 1970s Italy, Sweden had lax child labor laws in film, no mandatory therapists, guardians with veto power, or nudity bans. Andresen, at 15, had no advocate. His grandmother prioritized fame over protection. 2. No professional backlash in the 1970s. Death in Venice premiered at Cannes 1971 to acclaim Palme d'Or nominee. Visconti's Cannes press conference, publicly discarding Andresen as no longer beautiful at 16, drew laughs, not outrage. He continued directing hits like Ludwig, 1972, and Conversation Piece, 1974, cementing his genius status. No boycotts, no scandals. Abuse was dismissed as artistic method. 3. Posthumous exposure, but no retroactive punishment. Bjorn's 2021 revelations, calling Visconti a cultural predator who sexualized him, sparked sympathy for Bjorn, not Visconti. But you can't punish the dead. No lawsuits, fines, or bans on his films. Indirect legacy. Sweden's Andresen's Clause, 2023, was inspired by the doc, mandating protections for child actors, but it doesn't apply retroactively to Visconti's work. 4. Cultural punishment. That's barely a slap. Modern retrospectives label him a leery exploiter, BBC 2021. But his films stream freely on Criterion, Netflix. No widespread cancellations. His classics endure. Bjorn got the last word. F off to Visconti in interviews. His story humanized the harm, but Visconti's estate untouched. 5. Why he got away with it. Power imbalance. Aristocrat filmmaker versus orphan teen. Visconti was untouchable, gay icon, Marxist noble. Era's blind spot. Pre-1980s, child exploitation in art was romanticized, e.g., no outcry over Pretty Baby's Brooke Shields at 12. Bjorn's silence. He didn't speak out until 66, after decades of trauma. By then, too late for justice. Bottom line, Visconti's punishment was Bjorn's survival and testimony, turning the Predator's masterpiece into a global warning. But legally, professionally, he died a celebrated legend, his wrongs buried with him. True accountability came too late for the next Tadzios, not this one. Renowned Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung once said, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." Not being able to hold Visconti accountable does not mean that Bjorn has lost his life battle against unbalanced power and predatory abuse. Bjorn's miserable, nightmarish life story and his relentless fight to reveal the truth has brought legacy and lasting legal impact to the world especially young actors and actresses to be. This is how one man's lifelong trauma became a law which protects the future generations to come. The documentary. The Most Beautiful Boy in the World, 2021, is now required viewing in Scandinavian film schools and cited in EU labour law hearings on minors in media. It rewrote child actor protections, as after its Sundance premiere, Sweden passed Andresen's Clause, 2023, the only labour law in history named after a victim. Not a politician, not a union. It turns Bjorn's curse into a shield for every child who might otherwise become the next Tadzio. The clause reads, mandatory on-set therapists for actors under 18. No nudity auditions without a guardian present. 50% of earnings held in trust until age 25. Since 2021, young actors at Stockholm's Dramatiska Institutet receive a laminated card on day one. Don't let them own your face. Bjorn Andresen, 2018. Here are the law's real-world implications. Swedish Netflix series, 2023, was halted for 3 days after 15-year-old refused a shirtless scene. Guardian invoked clause number 2, scene reshot with CGI. Japanese idol agency, 2024, was fined Y8.2A for using 16-year-olds' Bishonen photos in AI-generated adult content. Clause number 4 applied retroactively, regarding Bjorn's own footage. In 2024, he successfully petitioned to erase the 1970 audition strip from all future releases of Death in Venice restored editions, and Clause number 5 made it possible, though it took till 3 days after Bjorn's death in 2025 to completely have it completely erased in the future. They finally listened to the boy who couldn't say no. I wish it had come 50 years earlier, but at least it came. Dagens Nyheter interview, January 26, 2023. Current status of the Andresen Clause in October 2025. Adopted countries include Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Netherlands. Pending, France, Italy, UK, post-Brexit opt-in. Global Ripple, SAG-AFTRA is lobbying for a US version called the Bjorn Rule. Apart from the immense Andresen clause, Bjorn has left a legacy of resilience and audacity, telling us that we should never ever let our dark past and demons consume and control us. We must stand up tall and confront the demons in order to cast them away. This is demonstrated by Bjorn's 2 most recent artwork. 1, The Elder in the Cult. Bjorn's final screen role, Dan in Midsummer, 2019, wasn't cameo nostalgia. Ari Aster wrote the cliff-jumping Horga Elder for Bjorn after reading his interviews. The character dies smiling, choosing his exit. Critics called it Tadzio's Revenge. Bjorn closed the circle that has come around for over half a decade. The sacrificed boy became the willing sacrifice. 2. The music that outlived the myth. Bjorn's 2022 recital recording of Afterlife Lullaby for Elvin, violin plus piano 431, went viral on Swedish Spotify after his death. It has no lyrics, just a descending minor scale that resolves, finally, into major. The boy in white learned to end on a hopeful note. To sum up, here are 5 powerful demonstrations of Bjorn's resilience, moments he refused to let the curse win. 1. Survived 1985-1990 alcoholism after Elvin's death. Rock bottom meant waking up in strangers' homes, blackouts and suicidal thoughts. By 1990, Bjorn was sober, attending therapy weekly and never drank again. I chose my daughter Robin over the bottle. 2. Reclaimed his story in the 2021 documentary. At 66, frail and chain-smoking, he sat for raw interviews, cried on camera and confronted Visconti's ghost. He demanded Final Cut approval and insisted the film end with him playing piano. Not Tadzio's face. It premiered at Sundance. He called it My Exorcism. 3. Returned to the Death in Venice location in 2019. For a Swedish TV special, Bjorn revisited the Lido beach alone at dawn. Instead of fleeing, he scattered flowers in the water for his mother and son, then filmed himself saying, "I'm still here." you didn't kill me." 4. Mentored young actors on set of Midsummer, 2018. During the cliff jump scene, Bjorn pulled 20-year-old co-star Wilhelm Blomgren aside and warned, "Don't let them own your face. Sign nothing without a lawyer, and never trust a director who calls you beautiful." Ari Aster later said Bjorn's advice saved the kid from bad contracts. 5. Kept performing music until 2024. Despite arthritis and stage fright, Bjorn played monthly violin recitals in Stockholm's Södermalm district. His last set, 6 months before death, included an original piece titled Afterlife Lullaby for Elvin. The audience was 30 people. He refused payment, saying, "This is for me, not the boy in white." Bjorn didn't just endure, Bjorn fought, spoke, created and protected others with the inches of life he clawed back. One final image on October 30th, 2025. 5 days Bjorn died. A single white rose and a child's violin were left on the Lido beach steps where Tadzio once walked. No note, just a small hand-painted sign in Swedish. Bjorn survived. Now let the children play. That is Bjorn's epitaph. Before we finish, here are 10 most revealing quotes from Bjorn Andresen. 1. "I was the most beautiful boy in the world for about 3 weeks. Then it was over," reflecting on the fleeting peak of his fame after death in Venice. 2. "Visconti screwed up my life quite decently," on the lifelong impact of being cast as Tadzio at age 15. 3. "They treated me like a lamb to the slaughter," describing how Visconti controlled his appearance and isolated him during filming. 4. "I didn't understand what was happening. I just thought, cool, I get to go to Venice and miss school." On his naive teenage perspective during the making of Death in the World. 5. "Beauty is a curse. It opens doors, but it also locks you in a cage. From the most beautiful boy in the world on the burden of his image." 6. "In Japan, they cut my hair with scissors while I was sleeping. I woke up with fans holding pieces of me," recalling the extreme fandom and loss of privacy in the 1970s. 7. "I was never an actor. I was a doll, a beautiful, empty doll, on being objectified rather than developed as a performer." 8. "My son died in my arms. I was drunk. That's the worst thing that can happen to a human being." Speaking candidly about the 1985 death of his infant son, Elvin. 9. "I don't want to be remembered as Tadzio. I want to be remembered as Bjorn, who survived." A defiant reclaiming of identity in later years. 10. "If I meet my son again in the afterlife, I just want to say, I'm sorry and I love you." His deepest regret and hope expressed in the 2021 documentary. These quotes capture a man who lived in the shadow of an idealized image, fought to define himself beyond it, and spoke with unflinching honesty about both glory and pain. We shall never forget Bjorn Andresen, the man who not only survived but screamed and scuffled in order to save his own soul and millions to come. Thanks for watching, and I am Quote Guy. Till next time.